at the Tampa RV show. Our first time coming here. Let's see what the hype is all about.
Who's excited?
You never know, we might drive away with a new rig. Alright, we're still in the parking lot. We've made 3 stops already. Shirts on, shirts off. We'll get into the show within the next hour. Guarantee you that. Oh, shoe tie. We are at the Tampa RV Super Show. This place is huge. There's a little bit of everything here for everybody. No matter what you're looking for, I'm sure you can find something that you like. We have 5 tips today of things to look for that aren't so traditional, aren't so obvious when you're purchasing an RV. We hope these are helpful. Oh, weren't we looking for a Privos? They had quite a bit of different entertainment here for kids, including someone making these balloon animals. Thanks.
What do you got?
A couple of giants. The kids thought that was really cool.
I'm Tiny the Tanker.
And they had a little golf cart that looked like a fire engine that dispersed hand sanitizer and talked to the kids through a speaker, so that was kind of cool too.
Now blow the fire truck a kiss. Blow me a kiss, and your wish will come true.
For YouTuber.
Yep, look, we have all these cupcakes here.
Tip number 1. If you are tall, you want to make sure you can fit in your RV. We're not just talking ceiling height, we're talking shower, bed, everything. One of our main things when we're looking, I go get in the shower of every one of them. I don't want to have to be up in that bubble when I'm taking a shower. I want to make sure I fit normally, and that limits us a lot. We've found only a handful of fifth wheels that have it, but these go across the board no matter what type of RV you're looking for. Class A, B, C, travel trailer, fifth wheel, anything. These tips should help you with all of that. So another thing, a lot of travel trailers come with that queen short bed, and it looks fine when you're just looking at them, but if you're anywhere near 6 foot, I think you're not going to fit in it. Your feet will be hanging off. So make sure you check the bed. And then there's fifth wheels that have, some of them have a raised living room or kitchen, and those I've had some where I hit my head if I go in. So, you know, you don't want to, you're making this big purchase and then you later find out that you can't even stand straight up in it. You're not going to be happy.
Just a little side note from seeing, this doesn't happen to me, but going off of Dustin, he's 6'4". He hits his head on the kids' room. Not a whole lot, but he has hit it, the doorway, yeah. And then also leaving the RV. So the front door, he's hit his head on it. So it seems like that wouldn't happen, but for some reason, he's hitting his head. So those are things to look out for, because I'm sure they're not the only doorways in other RVs that are shorter. So think about it as you're looking for an RV, because if it's in the slide, you may not notice it. If it's a doorway that, I don't know, it just kind of depends.
I think some of it's unavoidable. The doorways have to be lower to get through. I'm used to ducking apparently, but sometimes I forget. I've lost quite a few IQ points that way. Okay, here's the issue.
Oh my goodness. We could get this and turn this into the kids' room.
The closet? Yeah. Even in the bubble, not a lot of room. And the big factor, I can stand up straight up here in the front. I'm 6'4" with shoes on here, so
These are not high.
good
These
to
are
go.
nice.
Do you fit in there, Nora? Do you fit?
I like sitting in
All right, being tall, here's another thing to look out for. I can fit in here, but when they have this not all the way up to the ceiling, it makes a big difference. I just went to get out and smoked my head on it, so I feel like that would probably happen often. Number 2 is a residential versus a gas electric refrigerator. This was a big one when we were purchasing our RV. I wanted the gas electric refrigerator for a couple of reasons. Obviously, it can run on gas or electric. So if you're boondocking, anything like that, you can still run your refrigerator. You don't have to run a generator, anything like that. Yes, the residential is much bigger, looks much nicer, but you have to have a lot of power to run it. Also, the gas electric refrigerator is a camping refrigerator. It's made to go in an RV. It's made to be bounced around going down the road, versus a residential, I don't think is really made to be bounced around that much. We have no experience with it. I haven't really heard people talk about it, but I would assume they have a more chance of breaking than the actual gas electric. The gas electric has much less space in it, but we realized that at home, before we started RVing, so much of our stuff goes to waste in the refrigerator because it gets lost back behind other things. And with this refrigerator is pretty shallow, so you learn to use the space wisely and less waste.
Number 3 is usable storage. It is so hard to walk into these RVs and think about your life, for example, as a full-timer, because it looks like there's a ton of storage or there's good storage, and you really don't know until you move in that you realize, holy cow, this is not at all what I expected. However, we want to give some tips of things to look out for that we have found in our experience of being beneficial or not so much. One of them being the pantry. Some come with a really big pantry, some come with a little less pantry. You either need a really big pantry and maybe not so many drawers or bigger cabinets, or the opposite. And there's a happy medium with both of them, because you can add shelving to a bigger pantry. You can add different kinds of shelving for that matter. Having a ton of drawers or cabinets isn't super useful for some things. So pots and pans, if they can't fit in them, you're not going to use them. If you have a ton of drawers but they're really shallow or they're really short, they're not going to be useful either. And that's what I think a lot come with are these shorter drawers, and it's harder to use them.
And there's the same thing the other way. If you get a really big cabinet and that you look at it, you think you can fit all this stuff in there, but it doesn't have shelves in it, well, it's kind of a lot of wasted space. That's the way a lot of the basements are on these fifth wheels. It's a really big basement, but you can only put stuff, otherwise you're just stacking stuff on top, and it's not helpful when you got to dig through everything.
What do you mean by basement?
The under storage of a fifth wheel is referred to as the basement.
The outside.
On the outside, yes.
Going along with usable storage, I feel like no matter what, unless if you're not a full-timer, this probably wouldn't apply to you. But I think you're gonna have to make changes to some storage. We have found with the kids' room, we definitely need to make changes to it. We're living with it as it is. However, we brought in like a dresser, so that has been perfect for that area. But you're not gonna walk into an RV and think, this is perfect, this is gonna hold all my stuff, I don't need to make any changes. I don't think. Maybe other people have, and you can comment below if you have found that, but that might change your mind on some RVs, but you just kind of have to pick one that covers most of what you want.
Number 4, the windows on your RV. This might seem like a no-brainer, but a lot of people probably don't really pay attention to where the windows are located. And a lot of the manufacturers are doing it this way, where most of your windows are on your side of the RV meaning it's on the side that your campsite is on, your front yard, not your neighbor's. Because it is kind of weird looking out your windows and you're looking at your neighbors eating dinner outside. And it's nice to have them on your side. That's what they're for. And one of our big things was having, like, part of why we fell in love with this RV was it has really big windows by our dinette where we'd be eating. You could be making food and looking out this big window too. And that's a big deal. And the same kind of thing, you don't want to buy an RV and then you go camping and you realize these windows aren't usable, they're not looking at anything. You want to make sure your RV has a really good view of your neighbors draining their black tank.
Get an RV with a lot of windows and just boondock in really gorgeous places.
Yeah, that's another thing. If you boondock a lot, it doesn't matter where your windows are. You want more, you want them all the way around because of the beautiful views.
All right, our final tip is bathrooms in the RV. Dustin and I agree on most things in our life together, but this we do not agree on.
We initially agreed on it.
Yeah, and then somebody changed their mind. Okay, we have an RV that has 1.5 bathrooms. And when we bought it, we thought this is gonna be great. We have 3 kids, there's 2 of us, 2 bathrooms, kind of a must. We have found living in it full time. We use the spare bathroom, which is in the kids' room. It's just the half bathroom, maybe once a week, if that. And it is now kind of our dirty laundry closet. I don't go in there a whole lot. We didn't paint it, we didn't do anything. And so I feel like I really just want to tear it all out and create a whole different closet with storage and just make it a really cool little area. Dustin doesn't agree. He thinks that we will need it, that it is essential to our living. And so it's something to think about. If you are in agreement that you wouldn't use it, I don't think you should spend the extra money or the extra space to have it. But if you think you'll use it, obviously it's important.
It's definitely a trade-off. If you want that extra space, don't get it. But for me, 2 bathrooms is a must. It's a good selling point for me, and I would gladly give up a little bit of space in the RV to have that second bathroom.
I think if you're starting off and you haven't bought your RV yet and you want to see if you could live without things, if you live in a house that has 2 or 3 bathrooms,
4 or 5.
you think automatically that you're going to need a second bathroom, I would say test it out in your house. Block it off and see if your family can survive a couple weeks without the spare bathroom. And that could be a deciding factor because it is kind of a lot of space and it would just be a whole closet. It's a walk-in closet and I love that idea.
Her other argument is that if you really needed that other bathroom, you could just run down and use the campground's bathroom.
If you're staying at a campground.
I guarantee I will never see her going down to use the campground bathroom.
I would just hold it. I'm really good at holding it. And I think it's important to teach your kids to hold it too. So we don't live in a world where you get everything you want right away. So it's really good life lessons for them.
True that.
Right, kids?
Okay, we have a bonus tip. One of our selling points was the size of the gray water, black water, and freshwater tanks on our RV. They're really big. That's what we were looking for, just in case we were gonna boondock a lot. After having some experience, we found out that we really don't love boondocking all that much. We'd rather be in a campground with full hookups. Basically, with 5 of us, it's hard to conserve water, showers, a lot of dishes. So boondocking, we love the views. It's cool to do every now and then for a day or 2, but we prefer RV parks. But we're still glad that we got an RV with big tanks. Comes in handy.
Also, to go along with the bonus is the outdoor kitchen. We thought we definitely need an outdoor kitchen. This is such a cool feature. And though we really do like it, or we really did like it, the outdoor refrigerator, which is actually a wine cooler. Not that they're like that in every single RV, but the one that we had was a wine chiller. Not usable for certain foods, especially if the weather was too hot or too cold. It didn't work properly. And then it's kind of a small area, but it takes up a lot of extra storage that you could have had in your RV. So we actually took out the wine chiller. We now use it as storage. But ideally, looking back, we probably just would do without. We don't use the grill that's out there. The way that it's located in our RV, the front door is over here. It's all the way in the back, which is pretty common for a lot of RVs. And I know a lot of people do use their outside kitchen, and it's great, it works for them. But for us, we have found that I think we would rather have the storage inside and just deal without it. I've seen an outdoor laundry, and I'm trying to convince Dustin into doing that. I think that would be great. He does not agree with that, but one day I will get my way, I can guarantee it.
I'd be out here changing the laundry and our unmentionables would fall all over the ground.
Okay, that's all for us today. Those are just our tips that we have found are useful to think about. If you have any extra ones, please comment below and let us know what it is.
All right, guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.